Hey, my name's Fraser, and have you ever thought about teaching your computer a new skill? As humans, we learn through experience, improving our abilities with practice, like learning an instrument. Or learning to juggle. Okay, maybe I need a bit more practice with that second one, but you get the idea. Well, by using something called machine learning, computers can do the same. By feeding computers large sets of data, they can analyse this to look for patterns and then draw conclusions from it. For example, your voice assistant, actually records every interaction you have with it to try and understand your voice better so that the next time you ask it a question, it can hear what you're saying. And it does this with everyone that uses a voice assistant so that it can improve everyone's experience with them. Another example are translation apps. You can actually get them now that use your camera. If you are, say, in a foreign country and you don't know what a sign says, you can point your phone camera at it and it will translate the text right there in front of you. It does this by using a huge library of images that are already translated, and it can compare the text in the already translated one with what it's seeing in front of it and saying, that looks a bit like that, maybe it means this word. Machine learning is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's also something that you can experiment with yourself. And to do that, we're going to use a website called Teachable Machine from Google. It's a fast and easy way to train a computer to recognize images, sounds, and even poses. So let's jump in and start to experiment ourselves. Here we go. This is the Teachable Machine website. This is where we're going to create our data set to train our machine learning model. Now, I'm going to be creating a model that can recognize my facial expressions so that I can then create an avatar that will respond to what it sees me doing with my face. To begin, let's click on the Get Started button, and we're going to create an image project. We want to use the standard image model. What we can see here are two different classes that are available. Now, the classes are the different things that we want it to be able to recognize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my two classes and then use the webcam on this computer to take some pictures of my two facial expressions. So now I've picked my two classes, I'm going to take some pictures that I can then use to train the model. You want to do at least 100 pictures, I would suggest, but you can do more if you like. It will just take longer to train the model. So let's take some pictures. Now you'll notice as I'm taking the pictures, I'm moving my head around as well so that it can make sure it can recognize me from all sorts of different angles. Here we go. Okay, there are my 200 plus pictures. Let's do the next class. Now we've taken our pictures, we are going to train our model. And to do that, I click the Train Model button. So what it's doing now is looking at those two data sets and comparing them. What's the same? What's different? Based on what it learns from that, it will then be able to predict, looking at the webcam signal, which one of those two classes it most likely thinks that I'm doing. Okay, so our model has been trained. Let's see how good it is. Wow, look at that. So when I pull my sad face, it basically hits 100%. That's excellent. Now what about when I do my excited face? Cool, it works. That's fantastic. So with this model trained, now we can think about, well, what can we use this model to do? It can now predict which of these two emotions I'm feeling. And based on that prediction, well, we can make something happen. Now for this next example, I'm going to be using a special version of the Scratch website that's going to allow us to program something to change in our Scratch project based on which of these two things it predicts. But this is so customizable. Once you've got your machine learning model, you can do all sorts of things with it. You could connect it to a microbit or an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi so that you could make things happen physically in the world around you, controlling motors and speakers and all those sorts of things. For the time being, we're going to keep it simple and create an avatar in Scratch. But before we do that, we need to export our model. So to export our model, we're going to click the Export Model button. When we get here, we want to click on the Upload My Model button. And what it's doing now is it's taking this model that it's created and uploading it to the Google server, and then it's going to give us a link that we can use in our Scratch project. Great, so now I've got my link. I'm going to copy that. The next thing I need to do is go to this special version of the Scratch website, and this is called Dance with AI. Dance with AI is a special version of the Scratch website that has some extra special extensions that allow us to do really exciting things with machine learning. So I'm going to click on the Open Pose Blocks button up here in the top right, and you'll see it looks basically the same as the Scratch website. Except when we click on the Extensions button down in the bottom left, you're going to notice some extra special features. Here we go, Teachable Machine. This is the website we've just been using. What we're going to do is we're going to drag in the Use Model block, and then I'm going to paste that link that we copied before into this section. And now it's going to be using my machine learning model inside our Scratch project. So let's look at what we can do using this based on the predictions that it's going to give.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I've got my algorithm programmed, and I've got a little speech bubble that's just going to have the name of the class when it gives a prediction. So let's hit the green flag and see if it works. Okay, let's give it a big smile. Hey, excited. And now off I do a big frown. Hey, it works. Fantastic. Excellent. So you can see that's really simple. I've used a conditional, so I'm getting the computer to ask if the prediction is excited or if the prediction is sad, and then I'm making it say a string of text based on what that prediction is. And you can see I've put that inside a forever loop, so it's always asking that question. Now, if you wanted, you could combine this with something else. You could combine this with a makey and have a button, so that when you push that button, it checks what your facial expression is. Or you could connect it to a microbit so that you can control servo motors. In this example here, I've trained a model to look at where I am in my room, left, center, and right. Then, using a special website called AI Training, it can connect that machine learning model to my microbit, meaning I can make things happen with motors, the little LED display on the microbit, and even on the second microbit, I could play sounds out of the microbit too. Really cool. This is all possible using the Teachable Machine website. There's loads of things possible. All it takes is your imagination. So have fun, experiment with your project, and don't forget to share your creation with the people around you as well. My name's been Fraser, thanks for watching, and I think it's time I go and do a bit more juggling practice.